Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys, brought to you by the National Hockey Now Network. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now. Friday, January 6th, Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith. Friday NHL card with 6 games coming up tonight. We will break those down in just a sec. But first, we'll look back on a busy Thursday night. We saw the Flyers get the better of the Coyotes 6-2 in that game. The Flyers continue to play good hockey now. The 4-game win streak for this team. They did not have that. Well, they had a sluggish start, but they overcame it and won 6-2. Again, that offense has just exploded in the last 4 games for the Flyers, and they've been trending over the total all of a sudden. Took a while, but finally they're getting a bunch of different sources stepping up and contributing offensively, putting the puck in the net. Another good offensive performance from them, and they get a 6-2 win over Arizona. We saw the Seattle Kraken down Toronto 5-1. Hard to explain it. Hard to wrap your head around how things could be that bad last night for Toronto. Actually, if you watched the game, it was weird because Toronto had a great first period. They were completely all over Seattle. And next thing you know, Seattle gets a power play goal, 1-0. Leafs tie it 1-1. And then the Kraken take the 2-1 lead right after the Leafs tied it. And from that moment, it really took air out of and wind out of the Leafs sails. They were never the same after that. And Seattle ends up winning going away 5-1 last night over Toronto. Disappointing result for the Leafs. The Rangers 4-1 against the Montreal Canadiens / Laval Rocket. They get the job done there. Rangers team total over cashes. Alex and I were both on that. The full game over, though, falls short just a little bit. Halak, a very good performance in net. Actually, Halak is playing better lately for the Rangers. Was very solid last night. Yeah, exactly. Starting to play better for them. How about St. Louis? Great job by Alex taking them as an underdog last night. They beat New Jersey by a score of 5-3. The Blues, definitely offensively, no issues. They have been scoring goals. Keeping the puck out's been their issue, but they did enough in that regard to get the win over New Jersey 5-3. We saw Washington with a 6-2 win over Columbus. Another game where we were both on the team total, Alex and I, with the Capitals. And they get to 6 goals. The issues continue for Elvis Merzlikins. Like I said, he just needs a change of scenery at this point. He's got to get the hell out of Columbus. He's not going to get his game back, I don't think, until he gets out of there and gets a fresh start somewhere else. Another productive night for Oshie Ovechkin as well, finding the back of the net. Washington with that 6-2 win. Edmonton 4-2 over the Islanders. The team meeting worked. They had a much better performance last night, 4-2. Great 60-minute effort for the Oilers. And even Jack Campbell was good, which we haven't seen all that much this year. A great performance from the Oilers. Colorado, wow, it's time to start. I don't want to say panic, but it's time to get a lot more concerned about the Avalanche after what I saw last night. You're up 1-0 after the first period. You have just this brutal 5-minute stretch or so. Actually, it was less than that. And they end up losing 4-2, but they were up 1-0. Vancouver roars back, takes the lead, and they end up going up 3-2 over the Avalanche after a 2-0 Avalanche lead in that game. Very, very shocking not shocking, but just very, very disheartening to see the way Colorado's playing. The losing streak has continued for them, even with Nathan McKinnon back, and the losses mounting means Colorado's fighting for their lives now, just in the playoffs. So this is a concerning stretch of hockey for the Avs, no question, and losing to Vancouver, who have struggled all season, especially on home ice, is not going to help things for them. Speaking of teams struggling, the Penguins stink right now. I mean, that's the only thing we can say, unfortunately. 5-2 loss to Vegas. They're not playing great defensively anymore. They're giving up more goals. Casey DeSmith didn't have a great night, but their offense is kind of dried up as well for the Penguins during this rough stretch. They're not playing good in any facet of the game, and Vegas. Definitely, you could tell that team was amped up from seeing Jack Eichel back on the ice. Played a great start for them. They jumped on Pittsburgh early. Terrible start. Penguins dressing room, if you want, check out PittsburghHockeyNow.com. Great coverage of the Penguins there. They're talking about how bad the start was and needing to get off to a better start next game. We'll see if they heed those words, but they are definitely not in a good way right now, and they lose again 5-2 to the Vegas Golden Knights. Yeah, I really did like LA last night. I have no regrets other than I wish the result was different. But give Boston credit. Going out on the West Coast after the Winter Classic, and they get the 5-2 win. They took over in the third period of that game. Swayman was good, but more than anything, finally the Phoenix Copley came back down to earth at least a little bit last night in that game. And to be honest, Marchand, Bergeron, and Pasternak, were the perfection line being reunited, worked out swimmingly for Jim Montgomery. They got great night from all three of those players, and the Bruins with a nice 5-2 win as they begin this West Coast road trip in the winning fashion. And I saved the Nashville game for the end. 5-3, the big upset was my highlight of the night, taking Nashville at almost plus 200 on the money line, getting the win over the Hurricanes. And UC Saros with arguably the best goaltending performance of this season so far. I think it was the best. 67 Carolina shots, and he turns away 64 of them in the victory. And it was just one of those nights where UC Saros raised his game in a big way, and Nashville needed every bit of it to get that 5-3 win over Carolina. So, yeah, Carolina maybe wasn't as sharp with their offensive execution, but they did fire 67 shots, and you got to give credit to UC Saros. Like I said, maybe the single best goaltending performance we've seen all season in the NHL. Alex, your thoughts on last night?
Yeah, that was insane. And I kept checking every site I have on my phone and app on my phone to see if that was correct. 67 shots by the Carolina Hurricanes. And I mean, this is a team, if you probably look back at some of their top 10 highest shot counts for games in a season, they've probably gone 5-5 in that span. This is a team that has gotten a lot of shots and just had sometimes just bad puck luck or faced a hot goalie. And in this case, it was the latter. UC Saros, I mean, what a way to celebrate being named an all-star by having a true all-star performance, making 64 saves. I think that's the third most saves in a regular season game in NHL history. So that was huge for him, and good confidence builder too. If Nashville wants to try to stay afloat in the West, it's going to rely on him playing as well as he did last night in net for that Preds team. Just looking at a couple of the other games from last night, like I said, Pittsburgh and Vegas, I was really happy with that result. Vegas just coming out guns blazing, getting 2 quick goals, cashed the first period over. That was my best bet on the show last night. St. Louis getting outshot by a near 2-1 margin, but still finding a way to win 5-3. It was it Kira Schmid that ended up getting the start, and that's something you got to look out for now with New Jersey. They might be rotating 3 goalies as of now. It's something I might have to adjust with my goalie charts and rankings. But with that being said, Schmid's just as bad, if not worse, than Mackenzie Blackwood. So there's not much adjustment. If you see Schmid or Blackwood, the adjustment there is pretty much nil. So between those two, as opposed to Vanacek, Vanacek's clearly the number 1 starter there. So those are the 3 things that really kind of stuck out with me for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. Congrats on that first period over. Nice to get them quickly like that with the Penguins and the Golden Knights last night. And no doubt, St. Louis was a very good result as well, seeing them get the job done against New Jersey last night. And lots of goaltending conundrums in the last minute. So make sure you're aware of that. And there's one game in particular where there, as of a couple hours ago, a lot of uncertainty in terms of who's in net, who's going to be in playing, who's in, who's out. And we'll get to that game on the Friday card. But at least now, with us doing this show at 2 p.m. Eastern time, we have a little bit more clarity when it comes to a little bit in the lineup information with the one game in particular. And I'm speaking of Tampa Bay and Winnipeg. But let's get into the Friday card. We will start with Nashville and Washington. We've got the Capitals minus 155, home favorites, 6.5 being the total. Actually, it's 6 in some places. So make sure you shop around here. 6.5. We've got a split line when it comes to the total in this game. And that's significant. Because if you like the side or the total that I like, and that's over, you're going to want the 6, obviously, as opposed to the 6.5. I mean, Nashville has found their offense. There's no question. 4 straight overs for the Predators coming into this game. They scored 6 on Anaheim, 4 against Vegas, 6 against Montreal, 5 against Carolina last night in that 5-3 win. And really, they're getting Forsberg starting to heat up. Granlund's been good. Duchesne's chipped in. And more than anything, they've gotten really nice contributions from everybody else down the lineup as well. So it's a little bit from the third and the fourth line lately as well. for Nashville. Washington bounces back from the 5-4 home loss to Buffalo, and they take care of business against obviously a porous Columbus team last night, 6-2 in that game. That's now 4 straight overs for the Washington Capitals as well. And again, with Ovechkin making this wild chase to track down the great one, Wayne Gretzky, for the all-time goal-scoring lead, it's almost like that's got them on the front foot offensively, trying to be a little more aggressive, trying to get Ovechkin his goals whenever they can. And we've definitely seen the Capitals just in blazing offensive form. Really, the last 9 hockey games, Washington has scored 5, 4, 3, 4, 4, 3, 9, 4, and 6 goals in those 9 games. I mean, they've gotten basically to 3 or more in all 9 games. So that's why it's very difficult right now to take them under their team total or under in their full game totals right now because they're just finding ways to score. They've beaten Nashville 3 straight times, although Nashville has had some success here in Washington. In fact, Nashville was on a stretch where they had won 4 straight in Washington before the Capitals finally beat them here 5-3 at home last night. It's a tricky handicap because, Nashville looks like they're a little bit undervalued right now, and Washington sometimes these bigger home favorites. We saw it against Buffalo. They can, slip up a little bit. But after Nashville had to really hang on and hang on and hang on and face that 67-shot barrage from the Carolina Hurricanes last night, I worry about them physically and mentally tonight. Sometimes when you're up against it and you're trying to defend that much the one night and you got to play second night back-to-back on the road, travel as well, you're really going to struggle at times with puck management, turnovers, a little lethargic, little fatigued. Fatigue could easily set in, I could see, for that Nashville blue line tonight. So, I do think Washington will score goals tonight. It probably will be Lankinen in net for Nashville and Lindgren for Washington after we ended up seeing, obviously, Kemper play for Washington last night, and we saw, obviously, UC Saros play for Nashville and have one of the great performances of the season. I really doubt Saros is going to be in again after that workload last night. So it'll probably be Lankinen. Lindgren is expected, but not confirmed yet in net for Washington, who are still without, by the way. Nick Dowd might not play again. If he is, I like the goal prop with him. Actually, he is going to return, so that's good news. And Nick Dowd has played better lately. So get on that tricky Nicky Dowd goal train. He has been noticeable for the Capitals of late. So they'll get him back. He provides some depth scoring, some punch from the third and the fourth line. That'll help Washington going into this game. I like the over. That's what I'm sticking with here. Over 6 minus 120. Each team has gone over in 4 straight games, and the over has gone 7-2 in the last 9 head-to-head meetings, and 4 straight games in Washington with these 2 clubs have gone over the total as well. So that's what I'm looking at. Goals here with the Predators and the Capitals. Alex, Nashville, Washington.
Yeah, I like Washington here in this spot in regulation. I laid $1.05 earlier today. The thing with Nashville is that, okay, yes, you had UC Saros with the giant performance, but the bad part of that is you gave up 67 shots on goal in a game, and that's recorded shots, not shot chances.
That's called getting away with one, yeah.
Definitely. And so if you give up 45, 50 shots tonight to this Washington team, especially Ovechkin, he's starting to get on a roll, Dowd returning to the lineup, and Washington's getting a little jazzed up because Tom Wilson might be returning to the lineup at some point in the next week or so as well. This team gets fully healthy, and the one that they're on, they might continue to stack up, and that offense can keep on humming the way that it's been. So I like Washington here. Charlie Lindgren in net. He is definitely now a buy-on goalie as a backup. And I was looking back to his stats last year in the AHL with Springfield and this year in the NHL with Washington. He is 40, 14, and 3 his last 57 appearances. That is phenomenal. This is a guy who was kind of casted off, thought he was going to be the backup there in Montreal for years, and then just seemed like he would be a fringe AHL goalie. This guy's got a serious rhythm now, and it's been going on longer than a calendar year. He's definitely one of the better backups in the league right now, and I think he's worth laying a price with. I'm not going to lay 155. I'm going to knock that down to $1.05 and look at the caps in regulation.
Yeah, I mean, definitely Cheshire Cat is on to something with Cody. Cody Glass, a good bargain tonight for Nashville. If you want to get a little creative, he scored in back-to-back games, 3 points in the last 4 games for the Nashville Predators. Shooting the puck a lot, 6, 3, 2, and 3 shots in the last 4 games for Cody Glass. Yeah, I like it. Great bargain. and he scored in back-to-back games for the Predators. And he's going to be on the number 2 power play unit. So it's not only that he's scoring, but he's going to get opportunity. Obviously, with him moving up to the number 2 power play unit. I mean, in terms of the forward group, they've only got him on the third line, but he's been chipping in from that spot. Parsonen's worth a look. Novak is worth a look as well for Nashville. If you're talking about value players, hey, you know what's funny? My little sprinkle on Mark Jankowski, because he moved up to the top line. He's from Dundas, just outside of Hamilton. It came through. He scored last night for the Nashville Predators in that
nice
game.
Job
that was
that.
a crazy price. That was plus 580 that I got
Nice.
on that. So and look, he's not much of a goal scorer, but I'm like, hey, he's moving up to the second line. He's in my hometown. He's from Dundas, so let's bet it. And it paid off. I might press my luck, take him again. Who knows? He's on the second line. Like, he's going to get with Johansson and Duchesne. He's playing with, some of the better forwards on this Predators team. So definitely, I think that's worth a look. Maybe Jankowski can find the back of the net for Washington. Gustafsson, it goes without saying, he's producing consistently from the back end. Sheary's undervalued a little bit, if you ask me. Of course, Ovechkin's just scoring, it seems, every night. It's Ovechkin now just behind Tage Thompson, TNT, and Connor McDavid for the Rocket Richard race as well, for leading goal scorer in the NHL. So that's a race that's heating up right now as well. No question about that. All right, Florida, Detroit. We've got Florida minus 150, road favorites, 6.5 the total in this one. The Red Wings, of course, a disappointing result against New Jersey, 5-1 at home on Wednesday night. Florida, they played last on Tuesday against Arizona. Got the job done. Not pretty, but they found a way to get past Arizona 5-3 in that game. The Panthers trying to get on a run, but I need to see consistency from this Panthers team before I'm ready to lay minus 150 on the road with them. It's been since December the 1st and December the 3rd. That is the last time Florida won back-to-back games. It has been that long since we've seen this team put two wins in a row on the board. So that's not exactly what I like to see here out of a minus 150 road favorite. That being said, do I like Detroit enough to back them? I mean, they have just been dominated by Florida. 7 straight victories for the Panthers over the Red Wings, dating back to March of 2021. So it's been pretty much all Florida. Detroit, though, is coming off a bad game. One thing we have seen from Detroit in a lot of instances is they play a bad game. You're going to get a much better effort from them next time out. That's been a pretty good consistent of them. They had the 6-3 loss to Ottawa. They took to Washington overtime the next game. They have the 6-3 loss to Buffalo, and they bounced back and they beat Ottawa at home 4-2. So I would still lean Detroit, believe it or not. I just don't like that Florida has got that dominance over them head-to-head. The Red Wings, I should point out, too, still a little bit banged up on the blue line and still missing a couple pieces up front. It is Ville Husso in net for Detroit, and he's had a very good season overall, but not so much in the last 2 starts that he's had. 9 goals allowed in the losses against the Penguins and the Devils, giving up 5 to New Jersey and then giving up 4 to Pittsburgh before that. So it's been a little bit of a shaky run here for him in his last couple of starts, but overall still very good, but not so much the last couple. Bobrovsky, by the way, confirmed in net for the Florida Panthers. But still, when we saw him last, he played against the Rangers, gave up 5 goals in that game on 28 shots. Remember, Spencer Knight was in net for the Panthers against Arizona when they beat the Coyotes earlier this week. I don't like what I see here from Bobrovsky right now. So I like over the total a little bit here, 6.5. Not my favorite total of the night, but I do like the look of that to go over the number. I might even sprinkle on Detroit just small, but again, I'm worried about the Florida dominance over them. That being said, that stands out like a sore thumb, Alex, to me in this game, and it's why I'm still taking a small shot with Detroit here. Florida has failed to win back-to-back games since December the 1st and December the 3rd. That is a long time ago. That's a lot of hockey without being able to put 2 good games in a row together. And I'm going to have to see it before I believe it out of the Panthers here tonight that they can win 2 in a row. What do you think here, Alex? Panthers, Red Wings.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And I don't believe we're going to see it tonight. I bet the Wings minus or plus 134 this morning. And I know I'm bucking a couple of big-time trends here, especially when you're looking at, Panthers have won 22 of the last 28 meetings overall, 17-4 the last 21 in the Motor City. I think this is a bad Panther team. I think they're, like I said, I believe they're on the collapse now, on their way down to missing the playoffs. And I would definitely look to grab, Panthers missing the playoffs. No, I saw plus 500 maybe about a week ago. That's what I got in pocket. I would look to grab any of that. I think this free fall from now until the All-Star break. I don't think they're going to lose every game in that stretch, but I think from now until the All-Star break, this is going to be the stretch that knocks them out of the postseason run and keeps them firmly toward the bottom of the Atlantic Division. So I like Detroit here with Husso and net. They've had their struggles as well, but I think they can do enough damage to get the win here at home.
Yeah, and keep in mind, too, Florida's won 2 games since the Christmas break. You know who they beat? They beat an AHL team, Montreal, Laval Rocket, as I'm calling them. And then they beat Arizona in their last game. Those are the 2 wins. I mean, nobody really of quality right now. They lost to Carolina. They got shut out, and the Rangers beat them 5-3. And that Ranger game, giving up 5 goals, was the last time we saw goalie Bob. So, yeah, I mean, with goalie Bob in net, like I was on a Jimmy the Bag show earlier, and I was off this game entirely side and total, but I said if it's goalie Bob, I'll be more interested in Detroit and the over, and now I'm more interested in Detroit and the over in this game here against the Florida Panthers. As far as the props go for this one, when you're looking at the lineup combinations here, it is worth noting for Detroit, they have moved up that young prospect the last few games to the second line, Berggren. I think he's a little undervalued. Jonathan Berggren for Detroit on the second line. Maybe look toward him in terms of the prop market. Kuhlman Luostarinen is on the second line and getting power play time still. Lindell as well. Some undervalued looks for the Florida Panthers as well in this one. All right, Tampa Bay, Winnipeg. We've got the Lightning minus 115, slight road favorites. The total 6 across the board. There was a lot of uncertainty about a few hours ago regarding this hockey game, and the uncertainty was who was going to be in goal, first of all, for Tampa Bay, because Brian Elliott has had to start back-to-back games for the Lightning, which, of course, we know he never does, but he had to on Wednesday against Minnesota after starting the night before against Chicago because Vasilevsky suddenly was ill right before the game. So it ended up being Elliott on back-to-back games, and there's no telling if Vasilevsky is going to return tonight. He's still being that illness is still lingering around him. He's going to be a game-time decision here for this game against Winnipeg. He got through morning practice, which you would think is a positive sign, but John Cooper said they're still going to wait right till the puck drop tonight to make that determination. So, question mark regarding the goaltender for Tampa. And for as good as Brian Elliott was early in the year, and a lot of it, though, was he was still giving up goals, but he was winning games because they were scoring a lot for him. He's had a rough couple of starts here, 2 of the last 3. I mean, the Chicago game was good, but obviously had a tough night against Minnesota on the back-to-back. And Vasilevsky's been terrific lately. So there is a little bit of a difference if we see Elliott and Vasilevsky. There always is, but even more so now because Elliott's form has dipped a little bit. And then you look on the Winnipeg, and by the way, Victor Hedman out for the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight as well. Personal matter, is returning home to be with his wife. They're expecting their second child, and as a result, he's gone back home to be with his wife as they are about to give. She's about to give birth to their second kid, so that's understandable. But that still leaves a gaping hole on the blue line anytime he's out for Tampa Bay. And then you look at Winnipeg, who have done a remarkable job, Alex, with the record they have, 24-14, including 14-6 at home. With key players out, like we've talked about for weeks now, how Ehlers has been missing, Wheeler's been out, Perfetti, who's a good young prospect, has been missing the last several games, and all these guys pretty much are back tonight. It is 4 players returning to the lineup from injury for the Winnipeg Jets tonight. Nikolai Ehlers, Blake Wheeler, Nate Schmidt on the blue line is returning as well, and there's one more. Ehlers, Wheeler, and Schmidt are the big ones for them returning tonight for the Winnipeg Jets. Very good sign for them, getting much healthier on not only on the blue line but up front as well. So this team that was already doing a admirable job, putting wins on the board, playing solid hockey with the injuries, now they're getting everybody back. So I'm definitely gearing up to take Winnipeg here. I haven't bet it yet. I'm still waiting to see who's in net for Tampa, but that's the only thing I'm waiting on. And either way, I'm not taking the Lightning in this spot. The Lightning have been ordinary on the road. Keep that in mind. The one concern for me would be that they're off a loss. They've been very good off a loss over the years, but they're playing ordinary hockey on the road right now. This is a 9-8 team on the road, barely one game above 500. Before the Christmas break, they played a horrible game against Toronto, and then they failed to bounce back the next night. They lost in Detroit. So this team is beatable on the road right now. In fact, the last 4 road games, their only road win was against Chicago. No offense, Alex, but big whoop. You beat Chicago on the road, big deal. And then, of course, you lost to Minnesota the very next night. So Tampa Bay's not been beating, above average teams on the road lately. They have not. And Winnipeg is most assuredly above average. They're a very good hockey team this season, the way they've played. So I like the Jets here. I'm just waiting to see who's going to be in net for the Lightning. But either way, Jets for me, minus 105. Alex, Lightning Jet.
Yeah, this is a lean just for me with the over 6. Even if it is Vasilevsky and he's over his illness and he's healthy and Hellebuck going for the Jets, this is definitely really one of those spots where, we always used to assume probably go under. Actually, the trends have been over. 7-2 the last 9 meetings in Winnipeg, 5-0-1 the last 6 meetings overall. And 7s have been wild. The team that has won the last 3 meetings, they scored exactly 7 goals, and we've seen at least 7 goals scored in 6 straight. So I'm going over 6. I think this is just one way. Don't complicate it so much. Except Tampa Bay hasn't been playing the best of hockey. Winnipeg's getting guys back, especially guys on the blue line. They may not gel right away with Schmidt and Ehlers, as big of pieces as they are. We just talked about this with a couple other teams like Toronto, for example. So this leans to all percentage point to over 6 for me. So make it official on the card. I'll go over 6.
Yeah, that's true. The synchronicity issue could be – I think they'll be fired up to have him back, but you're right. Synchronicity, timing, all of that stuff, is it going to be where it needs to be when you're getting, 4 players returning to the lineup here for Rick Bowness and the Winnipeg Jets tonight? That's going to be the biggest question, is that are they going to be able to get all these guys back and get the chemistry right away, with all these guys back where they are hoping it is. But no, there's definitely no doubt that they are welcoming all these players back with open arms. There's no question about that when you're talking getting Schmidt back, Ehlers back, Perfetti back. It's great to see them getting all those guys back in the lineup, no question. Will that chemistry be there initially is the question mark. There are a couple props I like here, and the one in particular for Winnipeg. Nikolai Ehlers is going to be back on the top line. Perfetti on the second line. Anybody that's returning to the lineup, I think, is worth a look for the Jets tonight, because sometimes you are, you're fired up to be back. You want to make that immediate impact. So I wouldn't talk anyone out of props on the returning players. But the one I'm going to highlight for the Jets is the defenseman, Josh Morrissey. I like this angle where this is a guy that's obviously worked at his craft. He's gotten better and better progressively as a defenseman throughout his NHL career, and he's finally been rewarded. He's having his best season ever by far, and he has been rewarded with making the All-Star team for the first time. He is the Winnipeg Jets representative to be in the All-Star game. After that announcement, I could just see him, skating like the wind tonight in this game. First game after that big nod that you're going to the All-Star game. That's big time for a guy that's consistently been a solid defenseman, has now taken his game to another level. I think he has a good night, productive night. Not like he hasn't had a productive night lately. 1 goal against Calgary the other night, and he is on a streak now in the last 10 games for the Jets. I think he's got 1, 2, 3, 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12 points in the last 10 games for the Winnipeg Jets from the blue line. So, I think Josh Morrissey, it's almost like it's going to go to his legs tonight and to his skates, that first All-Star game appearance. So I would be surprised if he doesn't have a productive night here in this game against the Tampa Bay Lightning in this one. It's going to be interesting to see who's going to get more ice time for Tampa Bay on the blue line tonight. It looks like Sergachev will get more power play time as well. They're going to ask for more from him in particular. He's probably going to be the player that plays a lot more now with Victor Hedman out tonight. So Sergachev with Cal Foote, Ian Cole with Nick Perbix, and Hayden Fleury with Eric Chernak. That's looking like that's going to be the defensive pairings tonight for John Cooper and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Yeah, Phil Kessel, you're right, against his old team there last night, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and sure enough, he found the back of the net. He's been good at doing that too, Kessel. Yeah. You don't hear from him for a while. Then he plays his old team, and he does find the back of the net. So there's something about that. He gets up for playing one of his old teams.
I was going to say, he's got a few old teams to choose from, too. So.
Yeah, exactly. Boston, Arizona, Pittsburgh, Toronto. Yeah, take your pick. He's had a few, no question about that. All right, that is the first half of the card. We will be back to break down the second half of this Friday NHL slate right after we hear from our great sponsors, Gramco.
All right, whether you or your team's game is on the field, screen, racetrack, or the ice, Gramco is for the game. Grown by farmers who spent years developing premium hemp genetics, Gramco provides customers with consistent quality Delta 8 products ready for any occasion. Gramco currently offers numerous Delta 8 products such as vape cartridges, disposable vapes, pre-rolls, gummies, wake and bake coffee, and more. Gramco offers an enjoyable legal high delivered discreetly and directly to you, and is also available at many American retailers as well. Get the best Delta 8 cannabis products on the market shipped quickly and discreetly from Gramco. If you visit www.thegramco.com, use promo code Ice Guys, you get 25% off of any order, and all orders on the site that are $50 and higher are shipped free with standard shipping. So live elevated with Gramco and check out their wonderful Delta 8 products today.
All right, we are back here on the Ice Guys show. By the way, hit the like button. We appreciate it very much here on this Friday edition of the show. 188 live viewers right now. Excellent stuff indeed. All right, Arizona and Chicago. Not the most glamorous matchup of the night in the NHL, but it's got a money line and a total, and that's all we need. We got minus 110, even money, both sides, 6 the total in this one. It sure as hell looks like Chicago's just tanking for Bedard. I mean, I'm just going to come right out and say it. I mean, and why wouldn't you after just, a great performance in the World Junior Hockey Championship, wrapping up in a gold medal for Canada last night in a terrific game against Czechia. We went to overtime. And by the way, the guy that Arizona's already got on their team gets the game-winning goal, and he's going to have a pretty damn nice career, too, at the NHL level. Dylan Guenther for the Arizona Coyotes. I'm sure they're looking forward to having him back. And in fact, he is going to rejoin the NHL team immediately after leaving Halifax from the World Juniors. So he ain't going down to the AHL. He will be here with the Coyotes moving forward this season. As far as this matchup goes, this is a very fascinating one to cap from a side. It's an easy one to cap from a totals perspective for me, but it's a very tough one to cap from a side perspective because I think Arizona's playing better hockey right now than Chicago. This is a tough spot for them. This is the fourth road game, final road game of this road trip. A road trip they've gone 0-3 on so far, losing to Florida, Tampa Bay, and Philadelphia. They've not been good on the road compared to at home this year, Arizona. That goes without saying. 6-19 on the road compared to 7-5 at the Mullet this season. And now they're ending this road trip after 3 losses, and it's a back-to-back situation for the Coyotes. After being in Philadelphia last night, and they turned to Connor Ingram in net, who is, look, Vejmelka's play hasn't been as good lately either, but, I think a product of that is just the team that defensively in front of the goaltender has not been as good the last few games, and if it's not been good with Vejmelka, I don't know how good it's going to be with Ingram, who's got a 2-7 record, 4.24 goals against average, .878 save percentage for the Coyotes this year, so it's been a real rough time for him this season. We'll see how he fares here tonight against the Blackhawks, who, by the way, it looks like Alex Stalock will be the goaltender for them tonight, as I think there was a talk about them maybe giving Mrazek a look, and I'm not saying Stalock's been great, but he's clearly been at least a little bit better than Mrazek with the 2.77 goals against, .916 save percentage for Stalock this year. Yet he still dropped his last 3 starts in net for the Blackhawks, losing to Columbus, St. Louis, and Tampa Bay, and giving up 8 goals in those 3 starts combined. So we'll see if he can get Chicago back in the win column. I don't know if I can trust Arizona's better, but I don't know if I like them in this spot. Back-to-back, ending a long road trip out in the East Coast, Midwest, and with the inferior goalie, Connor Ingram in net. I don't want to back Arizona in that spot. Chicago has shown they could beat bottom feeders at home, or at least teams that are in the same class as them, the D- class. And that's what Arizona is. Just like when they played Columbus recently at home, the last game Chicago won, in fact, was a home game against Columbus right before Christmas break, 5-2 on a Friday night as well. So it feels like this is a winnable spot for Chicago. They're the rested team. They're at home. They're facing a team that's struggling to keep the puck out of their own net. And Arizona has been struggling on this road trip. 6 allowed to Philly, 5 to Florida, 5 to Tampa Bay. That's 16 goals allowed in 3 games on this road trip by Arizona. Could this be the antidote for Chicago scoring goals? Because something's got to give. Arizona's given up goals in bunches on the road. You know what Chicago's done in the last 5 games offensively? 0-1-1-2-1. It's been awful. So something's got to give here. I think this is the night we get some goals from the Blackhawks here in this game. And I think we'll certainly see some from Arizona. The one issue they have not had is scoring goals lately. I know Patrick Kane looks like he's going to be out for this game. But one thing I think that they've also got some questionables here. Tyler Johnson, the Greek Stallion, Andreas Athanasiou have been battling illnesses. We'll have to see if they're in tonight. But if they get an infusion of call-ups from the AHL, Brett Saney is coming up from the AHL, as well as Lucas Reichel for the Chicago Blackhawks. And these are 2 guys that are lighting it up down there right now in the AHL. So the way I see it, you weren't scoring with Kane in the lineup. You weren't scoring with some of these guys that are banged up in the lineup, Athanasiou, et cetera, et cetera. It can't hurt that you're going to call up these 2 young kids from the AHL here, put them in the lineup, maybe spark something. And the one thing you'll get from Brett Saney, the one thing you'll get from Lucas Reichel, 2 guys that are fired up. You know, I'm called up to this show now, to the NHL. I got to show what I can do. And you're going to get them, they're going to be bringing their utmost effort, and high level of motivation to the table to get the job done and chip in offensively tonight. So I like that situation when you got 2 young players hungry to show what the big club, what they can do. And I think that's a good situation maybe for Chicago to break out of some of this offensive doldrums that they've been in. So yes, while Kane is out, Athanasiou and Johnson are questionable. If these 2 guys play, and I think they both will, it could be a little bit of a spark and a jolt for this team offensively. So when it's all said and done, I like over 6. I'm staying away from the side in this one. Alex, what do you think here? Coyotes, Blackhawks.
Yeah, this game feels a lot like that Columbus game a couple weeks ago before the Christmas break, where the Hawks, went in Friday night, rocking crowd, got the 5-2 win against a lowly team, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen here tonight as well. I'm on the Blackhawks. I actually laid $1.15, seeing $1.10 now, so getting a better price with that. And like I said, Patrick Kane being out, that's unfortunate, obviously. But I think, the guys are going to step up in his absence. Taylor Radish, someone mentioned in the chat, be a good goal-scoring option to look at. Philip Kurashev on that second line, and Lucas Reichel. I think Lucas Reichel is the guy who really needs to show the Hawks he can do something at the NHL level now, because when you start looking at this team next year and beyond and making moves, and they'll have cap space open, Reichel and Kurashev might be 2 guys who, possibly be used as moving pieces potentially. So they're guys that need to show their worth now with the big club, and they have the opportunity to do it. So I like the Hawks here, minus $1.10. I'll lean with the over at 6. I had Stalock not gotten the start, I'd been Mrazek, I definitely would have been on the over and probably would have been looking to cash out of my Hawks side. But with Stalock in that, I think they got enough going to get the win at home tonight.
Because, Stalock's been decent. He has been decent. It could be 5-2. 5-2 will work, though, because the last time they won it against Columbus at home, it was 5-2, so Chicago cashed, and the game still went over the total. I could see that tonight, 5-2, 4-3 Chicago, something like that, and the game goes over the total. And like I said, I will look at if I can find props on those 2 guys, Saney and Reichel. I'm definitely going to be interested. Radish is a good option. Domi might be a decent option for the Blackhawks as well. Even Seth Jones is stepping up from the blue line right now, definitely. Offensively, points, goals even, the last few games, worth a look.
And Seth Jones for power play points, because what they're doing with him now is they're having him start at the point, at least they were, he will be on the back end now, of course, but they were having him start right alongside Kane. And once Kane got the puck, he would crash to the front of the net. That's the goal that he got a couple of games ago. And so they've been running that play a lot, which I really like seeing that. I like seeing 4 men jump in the rush when having the man advantage, kind of run that old school 1-4 look up front. That's something they've been doing quite a bit. So if you see some opportunities on the power play, Seth Jones might be a guy to take a shot with.
Yeah, no doubt. And they've got him obviously number 1 power play right now for the Chicago Blackhawks. And he scored in the last game against Tampa Bay. And again, it was a power play goal as well. And in fact, if you look at the last 4 games, the 2 points he scored, both of them were on the man advantage. So get that bonus, if you will. Get that bonus price. Get that better price, because you'll obviously get better prices with power play points compared to obviously just regular point props. So definitely worth a look here for Seth Jones tonight of the Chicago Blackhawks in this one. Should be interesting here how it goes. As far as the Coyotes go, Nick Ballstead, as I said, Nick Bukestad, he's been better lately. He might be worth a look. Gostis Bear has been their guy from the blue line that's been chipping in offensively for the Coyotes of late. And Nick Schmaltz, always, I think, someone to consider for Coyotes props if you're going to go with someone for them. All right, next up as we continue along here, New York Islanders, Calgary Flames. Calgary minus 215, home favorites, 5.5 the total in this game. I mean, it's definitely a Calgary spot in terms of they're off a loss to Winnipeg on the road. They're back home. They've got the day off. Islanders are rolling in after being in Edmonton last night, losing 4-2 to the Oilers. Definitely a rest advantage, spot advantage for the Calgary Flames. But here we go again. They're laying a big number, minus 210, minus 215. It's hard to just back this team when all they do is just barely get by. They play nothing but close, tight games. That has been the standard lately for the Calgary Flames. It makes it difficult to lay this kind of number with them. Even the regulation line's around minus 130 on Calgary here tonight. Do you really want to be sweating out this when Calgary's played 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, 2-1, 3-2, and 4-3 games, each of their last 6 one-goal games? They are not winning games comfortably. They're not winning games easily right now, and that's concerning at the moment. I think if there was anything that I'd consider, because I did want to back Calgary, very much so tonight, but I just don't love the prices we're getting. And for a team that's playing nothing but nail biters, I don't want to be minus 215 favorite or a minus 130 in regulation, or even a puck line where they're having trouble winning by more than a goal, biting my fingernails in a 2-2 game with 6 minutes to go in the third period. I just don't want to be in that spot. Sorry, I just don't want to be. So as much as I want to take Calgary here, I think if you're going to look at the Flames, and I still might bet this first period puck line, maybe you'll at least get a better price there, minus a half, jump on the Islanders early. You can get minus a half there at plus 135 for the Flames puck line. But even then, I'm not in love with it, because the Islanders should be at their most energy for this game, at their best early before, the fatigue sets in, and, playing back to back on the road. And the way this road trip has gone, Seattle, Vancouver, Edmonton, Calgary, it'll be in the third period that it catches up to the Islanders, not so much early. So it's probably going to end up having me passing this game and maybe just looking at some props. It's going to probably be more of a prop game for me. Jacob Markstrom, by the way, confirmed in net for the Calgary Flames. We've seen things cool off a little bit for our guy who we've been riding quite a bit, Dylan Dubé. He's only got 1 point in the last 5 games. So probably pump the brakes on that. If you're actually going to look at someone from the Islanders, I said it last night that he didn't score, but he certainly factored in with some of one of the 2 goals they scored against Edmonton. But Casey Cizikas has moved up to the top line for the New York Islanders. So definitely something to consider in this game. But really, I wanted to back Calgary, but sometimes you're just not happy enough with where the price is to be able to back them. And that's pretty much what I feel about this game. What do you think here, Alex? Islanders, Flames.
Yeah, this is going to be a pass for me. Like I said, no way I'm laying this kind of a price even in regulation with the Flames. And the Islanders, they've struggled, lost 4 of the last 5 meetings against Calgary, lost 4 of the last 5 on the road. This just seems like a kind of an ugly spot. If anything, might look for a live over, maybe see this one drop to 4.5. Early and grab that. That's the only thing I would probably lean toward, but I definitely don't want anything to do sidewise.
And by the way, 3 straight overs, believe it or not, Islanders and the Flames. We'll see if that continues tonight in this one. The Islanders, by the way, 4-1-1 to the over with no rest this year, back-to-back, and 5-1 in their last 6 games on the second of back-to-back. So they've actually been good in this spot on the second of back-to-back games. So that's another reason why I'm staying off Calgary. I want Calgary. I definitely would. I wouldn't look at the Islanders. Jay Stone asking, sounds like you want the Islanders. No, actually, I don't. I want Calgary. I lean Calgary hard, but I don't like the price, and I don't like that they're playing nothing but 1-goal tight games. Nothing is coming easily right now for the Flames, and that's the way it is with them. That's the way it always is with Darryl Sutter teams, even when they were with the Kings. When he was with the Kings, they were winning the Stanley Cups. Do you know how many games they won by 1 goal? A lot. Because just the style of play. So, just not ready to get there with Calgary at this price point. All right, San Jose, Anaheim, final game of this Friday card. We've got San Jose minus 155, road favorites, 6.5 the total. Be aware if you're trying to find this game on TV, whether it's cable, satellite, the center ice package, whatever. This is ESPN Plus tonight. Exclusive for this Sharks and Ducks game. Man, ESPN Plus loves these Friday night West Coast shit shows, don't they?
Yep, they do.
Ducks and Sharks and some other bat Coyotes or something, and
Ducks and Wild or something like that. Yeah,
they just love these West Coast Friday night games. ESPN Plus has another one of these tonight. The guy that's doing the play-by-play, I didn't even know he did hockey. I know he does college basketball for ESPN, but Roxy Bernstein is actually going to be doing play-by-play for this. So I've never heard him do hockey before. So that'll be something different. That's probably the more of a reason to tune in than watching these two teams play hockey right now when it's all said and done. This one's interesting. Let's start with Anaheim. What do we know about Anaheim? And they're coming off a great win, obviously, against Dallas, right? 2-0. Gibson was excellent. But what do we know about Anaheim? They have not withstood prosperity. Winning 2 in a row has been a problem for this team. It's been a problem all season long. In fact, you go back to their last 80 games off a win. That is a huge sample size. The record is 24-56 off a win for the Anaheim Ducks. So they have not been able to put one good performance together and make it stand up the next game as well. So I don't want Anaheim here. I really don't. And same with Gibson. I remember we were reveling about how he stole the game against Vegas just recently. Do you know what he did the next start against Nashville? That Friday afternoon game right before the break, 6 goals allowed. So again, he was excellent against Dallas. Terrific game. But he has not put 2 good games in a row together in net. Now, I don't believe we've got a confirmation. No, we don't have. We do have a confirmation. We do. That it's Anthony Stolarz that's going to be in net tonight for the Anaheim Ducks. So scrap that idea out of the equation. Don't have to worry about Gibson. It's Stolarz in net. But to be quite honest, 4.02 goals against, 886 save percentage for Stolarz. And in his last 2 starts against Winnipeg and Dallas, he gave up 5 goals. And in fact, the Ottawa start before that, he gave up 5 goals. So it's been a rough season for him, for the Anaheim Ducks. So I think San Jose will definitely find the back of the net. Scoring has never been their issue. You'd think maybe you want to back San Jose, but A, the price is minus 155. I'm not interested. And B, you would think after they haven't played since January 1st, which was against Chicago, New Year's Day, and we talked about that game, Alex and I. We both liked the over in that game. It cashed. And that's, by the way, for San Jose now, I think 6 or 7 in a row for them that have gone over the total. Entering tonight. 7 straight games over the total for San Jose. You would think with the rest, right? They've been off since Sunday. They're playing on a Friday. They'll be rested, fresh, ready to go, ready to play well. Not if you look at the numbers, and Jeff T is hitting on what I'm about to mention. 1-5 in a back-to-back, or with extended rest, I should say, this year. 1-5 on extended rest for the San Jose Sharks is what the results are this year when they have 3 days more. 3 days of rest or more. They are 1-5 this season. So when they've actually had more time off between games, they've played worse. So that makes it tricky. That makes it impossible from a side perspective, because I know I'm not backing Anaheim and trusting them to win 2 in a row. The Stolarz in net, who's given up 5 in 3 straight starts, and they've been brutal trying to win 2 in a row. But I'm not laying a price with San Jose or Kakkonen in net, who's been caca as well. There's another goalie that's had a tough time for the Sharks, and their bad record with extended rest, 1-5. So I'm sticking to just the total, and that's the easy decision to make, is look at over 6.5 here in this one. I think I've been on San Jose versus Anaheim over the total in every game this year, head to head, Alex, and they've had some just pond hockey games. 6-5 in a shootout for Anaheim on November 1st, 5-4 in a shootout for Anaheim just a few days later, November the 5th, and then we got a little fortunate with the December 9th over, because that was the game after they beat Carolina, and I, like a chump, bought into them after beating Carolina. Oh, this is going to get Anaheim going. They'll beat San Jose, and San Jose smoked them 6-1. But the over thankfully got there because San Jose did all the work and the heavy lifting. They scored 6 that night. So that's what I'm going to look at here. Goals between two teams that I think probably will give some up tonight. Sharks, Ducks, over 6.5 for me. Alex, what do you think here, Sharks, Ducks?
Yeah, I've ridden the first period over in the first 3 matchups and cashed 2 of those. Also been riding this trend with San Jose now 11-2 last 13 to the first period over. And Anaheim, I think 4-2 the last 6 at home. So I'm going to go over the 1.5 minus $1.40, minus $1.45. I would play it all the way up to $1.50, honestly. I do like this spot a lot. I think we're going to see goals back and forth here. Like I said, these are two teams you can't trust defensively. A slight lean to that over 6.5. It's not my favorite play. There's other spots I like, so I'm just going to stick with the first period over.
All right, first period over for Alex here with San Jose and Anaheim. I'm just looking back at the previous head-to-head meetings. Yeah, it was 3-2 for Anaheim after one of the first periods, 2-1 Anaheim after another of the first periods. The 6-1 game stayed under in the first, but the first two flew over in the first period of those two games. So Alex liking the first period over, and I definitely like the full game over here as well. As far as props go, LeBanc, undervalued for San Jose. Barabanov continues to be very undervalued for San Jose as well. And I'm going to stick to someone I've talked about a bunch on this show for Anaheim, and he's heating up, and he scored a goal and an assist and got 2 points and was in on both Anaheim goals against Dallas the other night. Mason McTavish, he's starting to heat up for the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, he's the best player prop right now, I think, for them. He has 3 goals and 4 points in the last 6 games for the Ducks. He's shooting the puck a ton. 3 of the last 5 games, he's had 4 or more shots on goal for Anaheim as well. So Mason McTavish has finally got it rolling for this team. He's getting his confidence going, and it helps as well that I believe they've been playing him on the top line the last little bit. Yeah, McTavish centering the top line with Henrique and Troy Terry. So that has definitely helped him out quite a bit as well, just getting that opportunity. So good prop choice there for Anaheim tonight, Mason McTavish. All right, great stuff. That is the Friday card. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit the like button. Check out patreon.com/Ice Guys, just $10 a month. Of course, we've got our daily Ice Guys show betting card posted there. Power ratings, totals charts, goalie charts, and more. Plenty of bonus content coming up in the year ahead as well. So check it out. Sign up, subscribe. Just $10 a month. It is worth it. Patreon.com/Ice Guys. Just $10 a month.
Yeah, also check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Get 23% off everything for the next 3 days. We got hoodies, we've got caps, we got beanies, we got t-shirts, some really nice stuff. So check that out. That's iceguys.myspreadshop.com.
All right, great stuff. And looking forward to Kevin Beach's Ice Guys debut tomorrow on the Saturday show, joining me at noon Eastern to break down the massive Saturday card, although not nearly as massive as it's been in the past. There's 9 games tomorrow, which is not quite as much as we've seen in previous Saturdays, but still a sizable slate tomorrow, and we'll break that down. We got best bets coming up, as always, to wrap up the show. But first, we'll hear from our other great sponsors, Manscaped. Support for the Ice Guys is brought to you by Manscaped, our good friends at Manscaped, who are the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 7 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you, courtesy of the Ice Guys. Get 20% off of any purchase and free worldwide shipping with the promo code Ice Guys. That's promo code Ice Guys, all one word, ICEGUYS at manscaped.com. If my math is correct, that's about 400 million balls that you can help preserve with manscaped.com using the promo code Ice Guys. You get the Performance Package 4.0. It is a game changer. The Lawnmower 4.0. It takes care of this, among other things. It'll keep you trim as can be. The Lawnmower 4.0, waterproof. Same thing with the Weed Whacker, which takes care of your ear hair, nose hair. I mean, nose hair in particular. You know, I'm getting up there in age, and nose hair is becoming definitely more of an issue. This will take care of it. It feels like someone's tickling the inside of your nostrils sometimes. It pisses the hell out of me. It bothers me. I need to take care of that shit. This will take care of it for you. The Weed Whacker. Makes part of the package that you get with your Manscaped purchase, and the Manscaped Performance Package 4.0. You also get the ball toner. You also get the ball deodorant, keep you smelling good and looking good and feeling good down in the nether regions. This package is really going to make you feel good and and look good and look better, slim, trim. That's what it's all about. And manscaped.com can help you out with that. So make sure you take advantage of this. Manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code Ice Guys at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com, and use the promo code Ice Guys. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. All right, we are back, and it is time for Best Bets here on the Friday edition of the show. Alex, what do you got for Best Bet?
I've been torn between these two plays, but I'm going to go and roll with the Blackhawks. Minus $1.10. That's my best bet at home. Playing against the Arizona team that has been just giving up goals left and right. Connor Ingram's just an absolute mess. And that Stalock has been the much better of the two options for the Hawks right now. Even without Patrick Kane in the lineup, I expect some of those guys, like we mentioned, Lucas Reichel, Philip Kurashev, Taylor Radish, they'll step up and get the job done. So let's go with the Hawks at home. Minus $1.10. That's my best bet for this Friday.
Chicago minus 110, best bet here for Alex in this one. My best bet, 2 straight days where I've dropped my best bet, even though I've had really good days. So, well, Wednesday wasn't good, but yesterday was really good. And unfortunately, one of the losses was the best bet. So we'll see if we can get one here in the win column. And for me with best bet tonight, I'm going to go to that West Coast game. San Jose, Anaheim over 6.5. I like that. I think we see goals, 3 straight overs head to head this year between these two teams. Stolarz, what's his goals against? It's over 4. Same thing with Kokkonen. I mean, 2 goalies that are struggling mightily right now. I think you see goals both ways in that late night affair. Should be a fun one for the ESPN Plus viewers. San Jose, Anaheim over 6.5. That'll be my best bet for this Friday NHL card. And that'll wrap up this edition of the Ice Guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out. We appreciate it very much. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form on all major podcast platforms, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and more. Download the Ice Guys podcast when you can't watch the show live. Shout out to Jimmy Murphy, who is usually with us on Fridays too. He's under the weather. Couldn't make it today, but we'll get him back on the show next week. Looking forward to having him back, and looking forward to being back with you tomorrow. It'll be me and our debuting Kevin Beach on the show. Alex will be back with me on Sunday and ready to break down the card on Sunday at noon Eastern. For Alex B. Smith, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Friday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will talk to you again tomorrow on Saturday, noon Eastern. They're always fun shows, a big Saturday card to break down. We'll be with you once again tomorrow for that, right here on the Ice Guys, presented by National Hockey Now.